to finding calm in the chaos. I am Denise Sith, and this is my podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Finding Calm in the Chaos. I'm Denise. Oh my gosh. How you guys doing? I hope you're having a great week. Well, I guess week and weekend because it's Wednesdays. So last time we listened and chatted in and hung out was last Wednesday. And this week, we're going to Florence, Firenze. Okay, so same. It's literally the same. So a lot of people are like, why is it Firenze? But it's Florence. And if you Google it, because I don't know exactly, but I believe it was just over time how they said the name locally with accent. There was Florence and Firenze, and it's literally the same thing. So there's that. How y'all doing today? Can I just tell you, Florence was one of the places that I feel like it's kind of like Rome, where you either like it or you don't. Now, I'm not saying I disliked it, because we had a great place to stay that made up for the fiasco that was Bologna, that apartment, that horrible apartment. But we had the most wonderful, first off, taking the train. Let's start from the beginning, Denise. We took the train from Bologna to Florence. It's not a long ride at all. About an hour and a half, I think it was. And they all have internet on the trains. The view was kind of patchy because there's a lot of like tunnels, which I thought was weird. But so a lot of time it's just black, and but what you do get to see is gorgeous. The station is a little underwhelming. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, you try to make more of it. When you're in Rome, you get to the station. It's like humongous. It's a big deal. It's, all of the stations we had been to. To me, it was a little underwhelming. But we wound up getting an Uber to go to the apartment because it was on the other side of the river. When I say the other side of the river, I'm talking about the Arno River. So we decided that we were going to stay on the south side of the Arno River. So Florence is kind of all located on the north side of the Arno River. And I wanted to kind of be, I almost combined wanted and liked. I liked. But I wanted to kind of be in local neighborhoods. I've mentioned that. When you travel, if you really want to experience like the culture and the lifestyle and all of that, I really highly suggest you do research and find out where the non-touristy areas are, but because there's plenty of neighborhoods that are close to it, but at the same time, you can be walkable distance to so many things, or even just a short bus ride. You don't want to take a bus? I don't know, like a 12-euro Uber? That's so worth it to me to kind of live locally. It is. So we stayed at a home that is referred to as the Mirror's House. Again, we rented. A lot of people are like, did you rent everything? Yes. When we travel, we rent everything through VRBO if we're not in a hotel. So yes, it was VRBO. It's called the Mirror's House. Okay. And there are quite a few mirrors in the house. Obviously, it creates to this, but it's tastefully done. And it really contributes to a small apartment feeling just like it's the perfect size. And it is so tastefully done. It's beautiful. Excellent security. But our Uber driver, when we gave him the address, was very impressed that we were staying here as well, because it was a Florentine neighborhood and not so touristy. Now to say that there were no other people renting in that area, there were, but it is a a little quieter unless you go out over to the main street, if that makes sense. So we were in that neighborhood is Costa San Giorgio is the name of the neighborhood in itself. And it's on the side of the Arno River, in case you need like landmarks like I do, of Boboli Gardens, Pitti Palace. It's like on that side of the river, if that makes sense. Okay. The Piazzale Michelangelo, that side. So it is not the side that the Duomo is on. There, that should be enough. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So again, we stayed in a place called the Mirror House, and the owners were very nice. A woman and a man. I do not know if they're married or if they're just partners, but they were the most wonderful hosts, just like in Parma. They left us a bottle of wine, of local Tuscan wine. If we needed anything, just call them. She came to meet us at the apartment when we got there. So kind, so nice. And now, obviously, things are really expensive. So some of the things I want to discuss are just so that if you do travel abroad and you've never gone before, that it doesn't seem like it's a surprise or like, wait, what? Because we are kind of spoiled when it comes to stuff here in America. And so in the States, we just expect things to be the way they are, and it's just not. I've brought up in the past, and it does not change because it is Italy as a whole. You need a PhD to take out garbage in Italy. And this was one of the apartments where we would have to take the garbage with us. We had all the different containers, so it wasn't a big deal. And it's the night before you leave. You go find the big trash cans in the area, which is, we knew they were right outside. Unfortunately, she was like, you know where they put them? They put all the big trash collecting containers right on the bridge or along the river, the Arno River, across from where everybody takes pictures of the Uffizi Gallery. So you got to be in the right position to not get the garbage cans. It's kind of weird, but that's what they did. Maybe it was intentional. I don't know. And they also had a whole way of coming in. And when you left, there was like this electric panel. Mr. Sith did all of this, that you would put the key in and turn it, and it turned off everything except for the main little living room to conserve on energy, and so that nothing would be left on. No air conditioning left on. Of course, the stove, the fridge stayed on, blah, blah, blah. But just to take down all of the things that might have been left on so they're not on, because utilities are quite expensive. Okay. We did not mind doing that. Not a big deal. All of the rooms had air conditioning. So we had one in the living room, one in both bedrooms, and they more than adequately cooled off everything very nicely. The street itself was on this tiny little side street off of the Ponte Vecchio Bridge. So there was probably maybe like a 2-minute walk to the Ponte Vecchio Bridge, which is the big bridge that everybody takes pictures of. We'll talk about that later. But the street itself was called, I think it was Costa, de Magnole. I think like magnolias. I don't know that for a fact. But it was literally right down the way from what was really cool, but a lot of historical stuff. So it was perfect. But I want to start just by going into, so that was the apartment. So the first day we're there, it's a travel day. I don't really plan anything outside of maybe a little exploration around our immediate neighborhood. And that's what we did. And I found this restaurant online. It was literally a 2-3 minute walk. And it was called, what was it called? I had to think. Lungarno 23. Lungarno 23. Holy cow, guys. It's right, first off, it's right off the river. So it's on the river, the restaurant itself. So we ate there. It was so good. Peter and Angelina, like I can't even tell you. So again, I was told she's a picky eater. It was going to be all this stuff. Okay, her and Peter proceeded to put down the spread for the bread. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. But they were both eating it. Now here's me like, what is that spread? Now they do deal with a lot of truffles here because, hence the area. But I thought, is it like a truffle spread or something? So here's me. I take a little piece of bread because I'm trying not to eat bread at the beginning of meals, especially in Italy. So even though they want you to, because bread. All right. I'll just eat bread. So I pick up a bit of the spread. I put it on my little piece and I put it in my mouth. It's liver pate. Here's me. Are you first? Nobody could warn me this was liver. Y'all know I'm not a fan of liver. I will keep trying to eat it, but I like to at least have like some preparation besides water. Like I would have ordered something to drink if I would have known that. I'm like, wait, this is pate. And Peter's like, it's so delicious, Mom. It's so good. I'm like, okay, with your face stuff. And my niece is just like, it's really delicious. And she's just like slathering up her bread. And I'm like, do you actually? I don't understand why everybody says you don't eat stuff. So far, you've ate octopus. And now you're telling me that you're going to eat some liver pate like it's Nutella. Are you kidding me right now? That's how much they were putting on. The kids at our table ate all of the liver pate spread. I'm like, okay, then whatever. Sure. And so, I was like, whatever, peeps. So I wound up trying, so they have like different stuff. They've got first courses, which are usually pasta appetizers. They've got side dishes, second courses, secondo, they call them. But they specialize in something called chianina meat, okay? It's a special cow that is indigenous to this area, specifically in Tuscany, and it has like a really good, there's a way they eat, there's a way they finish it, and so it's supposed to have a very unique and clean taste. So Peter, he ordered the Chianino beef hamburger. Now they expected him to order the kids one, but he wanted the one that had, it was like, oh, what was on it? It was, oh man. So onions, there were like caramelized onions on it and something else. I don't remember, to be honest with you, but he thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And they were so impressed that he wanted that. I was like, well, yep, there's that. I had the fried tortellini with truffle Parmesan cream and fresh black truffle. That was amazing. Like I can't even, just with the textures alone were like spectacular. I'm pretty sure that my niece got the truffi pasta with the like pesto and baked cherries and tomatoes with pine nuts. She got that. Mr. Sith got some sort of thing. He got a side of, I'm trying to think. Oh my God, I'm horrible right now. I can't even think of any of this. I'm just like blabbering along. Anyway, we eat at this place. It is freaking amazing. Like absolutely delicious. And then turns out it is literally classified as one of the best restaurants in Florence. And here's me. Wait, what? Because peeps, we didn't eat there just once. We ate there the night before we left. So we got there. We ate there on travel days. We ate there the night we got there, and we ate there the night we knew we would leave the night prior to leaving. But it's right in the historic center near, again, the Ponte Vecchio, and the Uffizi Gallery was across the street, across the river. But it was freaking delicious. So I highly suggest, if you are anywhere at any time in Florence, Italy, that you eat at Ristorante Lungarno 23. It is mind-numbingly good. What else did we do? So again, we were in the Costa San Giorgio neighborhood. Or what we found out later, which was a big deal. There was something huge going on during that time when we were in Florence, and it was the Storico. So the soccer classic, basically, the historic soccer classic. I don't know why they call it that, because it's not soccer. I'm telling you that right now. But calcio means soccer. So calcio storico. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, because that was one of the most cool experiences we ever got to do while we were there. And it was a total fluke. I had no idea it was going on. It just, our host happened to mention it, and then we just stumbled upon it. It was like a whatever, she was telling us about it, went in one ear, out the other. We didn't think twice about it. And then next thing I know, we stumble into the middle of it one day, and we were like blown away. Absolutely blown away. So again, we're in the Costa San Giorgio neighborhood, and that is literally right by the Ponte Vecchio, which means old bridge, right? Vecchio means old, Ponte means bridge. It's literally this medieval stone arch bridge, right? That literally is just known for the shops that are built along like the span of it, okay? It's the only bridge in Florence that was spared from the destruction during World War II, okay? I'm going to be really honest with you. There was nothing on this bridge I needed to see. They had some buskers every night, like musicians and stuff, throughout the day, like at the center of the bridge. And there were some statues. That's where everybody takes the pictures. But most of it was like jewelry shops, little like jewelry shops of it. And to me, that's like just super touristy. We didn't stop once on the bridge to look at anything. I'm going to be really honest. So I don't know, kind of like the big bridge on the Grand Canal in Venice, underwhelming. I was like, whatever. I mean, I guess if that's your thing. We took pictures on it so we know we were in there. I understand, like, historically, there's like cool stuff about it, right? So it's like, I guess it was completed in like the 1300s, and it's known for this segmental arch design, which was, pretty innovative at the time. So there's that. All of these shops, I don't know. It's said that they originally, apparently, the bridge itself, all those shops were like occupied by butchers, tanners, leather goods, farmers. But right now, it's literally just jewelers. It was all jewelers. Okay. And apparently that change happened because the Duke, which one? Ferdinand? I don't know if there's a number, but Duke Ferdinand, I'm trying to remember, peeps, okay? He apparently is the person who transformed it to that. So in the 1300s, that was known for like all of these butchers, tanners, and farmers. And then like in the late 1500s, Duke Ferdinand, he found those businesses to be smelly and unsightly. So he switched it to like a jewelry row. And now nobody stops anywhere. I didn't see anybody in the stores. Obviously somebody's buying something because they're still there, but just saying. So there is something called the Vasari corridor. So apparently it's a secret passageway that was built above the shops, and that collects Palazzo Vecchio to Palazzo Pitti by the Pitti Palace. Now, let me tell you, that walkway, it was interesting because I believe that was connected to our street somehow. It like kind of walked so they wouldn't have to walk in the rain. It's like, okay. But it's one of Ponte Vecchio was one of a few bridges in Europe with shops that were built along the full length. And it's like I said, the only bridge in Florence that was not destroyed during World War II. So that's a big deal, right? I mean, a lot of stuff happened back then. It is a total tourist attraction. Okay. And, you can get a great view of the Arno River, but in all honesty, you're on the historic bridge. So you're literally just taking a picture of you with a railing looking at one of the, depending on what side you are, looking at one of the other two bridges. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like if you're standing on the west side of the bridge, you're taking a picture, but in the background is the Ponte Santa Trinita bridge. And if you're taking a picture the other way, you're looking at the Ponte alle Grazie. So to me, what we did is either day that we were there, we walked to those bridges and took pictures of us there with the Ponte Vecchio in the background. I mean, like, duh. I can't be the only person who thought of that, but in all honesty, there weren't a whole lot of people that were doing that. So there's that. It's kind of crazy. What else? So I loved our location, but it was located on a hill, which is fine, except for the end of the day when every day is a leg day. You're going up this hill and I'm like, whoa, boy, thank gosh, we're only like 12 houses up, right? It was a steep incline. The hills in Italy are crazy. The inclines are just mind blowing. Once we got down and around the corner, then it's like you walked under this like almost tunnel, which I believe is part of those walkways that go to Pitti Palace. So you kind of like went under this dark walkway, but then, and everything's like bricked and historic, and it was awesome. But then like when you get around the corner, you're like, everything's bustling, right? It's really hopping. So we went to eat that first day and just kind of hung out, took pictures by, the Arno River. It was really pretty. Seeing that you can see the Uffizi Gallery across the way. Did we go to the Uffizi Gallery? We decided not to. Now, hindsight, I probably would have wanted to go in, but it was really busy there the day we went. And there were so many other things we could do. And because we didn't do it, we wound up stumbling on something historical. So we were like, well, that all kind of worked out. But if I went back, I would definitely go back to the Uffizi Gallery. So number one, I walked there because I wanted to see if there was an artist that I follow on TikTok, a dude that my friend turned me on to, and he is a painter, and it's just, I think his name is Carlo. But I was looking everywhere for him, and he's very distinguishable. He's an older man. He's got like long gray salt and pepper hair, and he has a patch on his eye. So it's like you can't not miss this guy, right? So I'm like, I want to find his stuff because I'm thinking if I really like something, I'm going to buy one of his paintings. How cool would that be? But the Uffizi Gallery itself is famous for the Renaissance art, particularly Italian Renaissance paintings, and it has tons of masterpieces from the big guys. Botticelli, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, like literally all the Ninja Turtles. The gallery's significance itself, though, is kind of like this from its role historically with the Medici family. Again, so it was formerly the Medici family's administrative offices. And it was its contribution, I guess, to Florence's now cultural heritage, which is kind of cool, right? But it has like paintings, sculptures, drawings, from Middle Ages to modern period, but it has a huge concentration of Renaissance art. And I mean, hello there. That's pretty much it's my favorite form. Trying to think of famous one. I know Botticelli's Birth of Venus is there, Primavera, Michelangelo's, I always say the name wrong, Donitando, I think it's that. The Madonna of the Goldfinch, that's Raphael. I forget what's there from Leonardo though. Sorry. Like, I mean, I literally rattled off 3-4 paintings, like deal with it. The historical significance again. Okay. So it was designed by Vasari. I think it's Giorgio Vasari in the 15th century as, like I said, offices for the Medici family. So the Medici family ruled over Florence for like 300 years, okay? And most of the gallery's collection was literally just from them. It's like this a mass of painting that they got. It switched into and converted into a public museum, I think in the late 18th century, which basically, I mean, it is huge. It's preserving, right? I barely got that word out. Preservation and showcasing Florence's cultural legacy. I mean, for sure, this place is awesome. Just how they actually get these. But it is, it sees millions of visitors a year. Okay, it's one of the most visited museums in Italy. And you can get tickets the day of, but the line was long. It was super hot. And like I said, in the long run, it all worked out anyway. Know what I'm saying? So, what am I talking about here? The Arno River. A lot of people are like, what? Oh, I mean, my niece said she'd never heard of the Arno River. So, it flows through, Italy, through Florence. We're in Florence, obviously. It has a rich history. It's super beautiful. Okay. It has a tendency to flood. And apparently, in 1960 something, there was like a devastating flood. Okay. Like really bad, but it's about, I think 150 miles long, 160 miles. It flows west from the Apennine Mountains through Florence and Pisa and then into the Ligurian Sea. Now, if you don't know that, just Google a map it and you'll see, right? So it flows westward. Okay. But, there are several bridges that go over it. Obviously, the big one is the Ponte Vecchio that's lined with the shops. But in all honesty, I felt that was really, really overrated. And I'm trying to think. Outside of that, we can move along. We ate well here. There is some good ass food. We went to this gelato shop. We didn't get disappointed with gelato at all in Florence. So Florence is the home of gelato. If you did not know that, that alone is one of the best ways the best reasons to go to Florence, the gelato. So right down the block from our house, it's literally a minute, okay, was a place called La Strega Nocciola Gelateria Artigianale. Don't ask me what all that means outside of it's a specific flavor that they specialize in. They had a bunch of different kinds. It was delicious. We were not disappointed with any gelato in Italy. The best of the gelatos, a lot of them came from Florence because we went to different places. But Florence itself was just, it was yummy. There's a flavor that is specific to them called I think it's Bontalente or Bon Talente. I'm not sure, but it is like a creamy egg mixture. It is out of sight. And it usually they heavily guard their recipes on it. I had one at another place and it was outstanding. I think the place that had the Bontalente was the Gelateria della Passera. That was just literally everything was so close. It was ridiculous. Coffee shops, abundant. And we enjoyed every moment of having pastries. I miss it so much. Having pastries every morning. I'm like, well, we can't have pastries anymore because they're garbage here, people. Because they're garbage. We did do some shopping while we were there. I kind of regret that I was going to buy a purse there. Because they specialize in tannery leather. And I passed by a purse and a wallet that matched. And it was this beautiful white leather with this like gorgeous floral design on it. And I walked past and I was like, you know what? I should have went in, and for whatever reason, I didn't. And then we went back the next day and I wanted to go in again and I didn't. And then on our last day, I went in and I said, you know what? I'm just going to buy the wallet. I'm just going to get the wallet. And I went in and it was sold. And I was so mad. I'm like, why? Why didn't you just buy it? But my niece went to Brandy Melville because, yeah, if there's anything, we should just shop at an American store while we're there. It was, they really were hopping. I was like, wow, people loving the Brandy Melville. And it's like, why is there a Cape Cod store in Italy? It's just great. Or Nantucket. I don't know. It's one of them coastal East Coast things. But she was able to find like some really cute stuff that she wanted. Obviously it was her first trip to Italy. She didn't pack stuff she wished she had. And so she bought stuff. She was like, well, I'm totally getting what I need. I was like, sweet. While we went to Brandy Melville, the boys went to Captain Candy and bought more bulk candy and then ate it amongst themselves because that's how they are. We spent tons of time just looking at all the different piazzas and stuff like that. The first day we spent time at the, where was it? The Piazza, Stefanio? I think it was Stefano. And then we close to it again is another one up. There's piazzas everywhere. I mean, like for real, right? We saw a Neptune salad. So Neptune's statue. Did I just say salad? Oh my God. I'm trying to remember all this stuff and it's like not happening. But it is very, I felt that Florence was a little more concentrated for me, meaning that I felt like everything was very close together. See, Rome is so abundant. Okay. It's the only word for it. Rome is huge. It's huge. And there's so many people there. And although I did feel like it was a little busy, I don't feel like it was crazy. I don't feel like it was crazy. So we also were at Palazzo Vecchio. We checked that out, all of that, all the different areas where the Duomo was, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is where things got. So we went to the Accademia, which is where David is, okay, the statue of David. There is a David outside, but it is not the actual David. It used to be outside, but it was getting worn. So they brought it inside and put a duplicate outside. So did we go in to see it? No, because the tickets were sold out. I don't know. I just didn't think we needed tickets. So definitely get these things ahead of time. And I thought I was on things this time and we still missed out on some stuff. So I was like, okay, whatever. So we saw the David outside and all the beautiful statues that people probably just don't even pay attention to. There's another Neptune, I believe. There's another. It was just gorgeous. I'm trying to think, what was the one that was there? There was some great statues out there. I'm pretty sure it was Neptune. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a great little square. So we thought, we'll go back there tomorrow, check out more. We wandered up and down streets, looked into tiny little stores, found all these little churches, right? So we find this little church. It's the Basilica di Santa Trinita, okay? It's literally right off the bridge with the same name, which is just northwest of the Ponte Vecchio. This church, let me tell you, is pretty unassuming from the outside, but it is mind-blowing on the inside. Absolutely mind-blowing. We were like, what is going on with this right now? It was gorgeous. So there was our church trip. We were going to go inside the big Duomo. I swear we didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. We had totally a reason why. But we wound up exploring one day going back and seeing all the different areas. And we were in the main square again. And we're realizing like, there was the David. We wanted to take a look at the statues more, right? So, and then get something to eat at our, the big famous place that everybody eats at there. So I was like, let's do that. And we get there and all of a sudden there's like all these people watching a parade in medieval gear. Like it's a huge medieval parade, beautiful colors, cannons being fired. I'm not even joking. And then I'm looking around and I'm realizing, wait, this is the parade that the host said they would be having for this calcio storico. It was the funnest thing to watch, but we had reservations for dinner. So we were like, oh, we got to run and like go over and have dinner and then we'll come back. But we had to wait for a break in the parade, like between people. People were running across the street. It was like Frogger. We were running across the piazza, because the piazzas, because they had to get to the other side. You didn't want to go all the way around. It was hilarious. I was like, we're going to have to dart across here, in between, flag throwers here, and preferably let the cannons go by first. So turns out we stumbled upon the parade of the calcio storico. And again, we already knew that our neighborhood was Costa San Giorgio. So we kind of like knew that they were broken into areas. So there are 4 teams that play in this calcio storico. So I guess I should explain what is that, right? So the calcio storico is also known as the calcio fiorentino. And it's this historical form of football that originated in Florence during the Middle Ages. During the Middle Ages, my friends. Stop, right? It is physically demanding, okay? So it's a sport. It's a sport. I'm going to use that word. That combines the elements of soccer, rugby, and wrestling. You guys, it's a melee. It is a freaking melee between neighborhoods, okay? It is considered, calcio storico is considered one of the oldest forms of footballs, with roots in the 16th century. That's insane. And let me tell you, it is intensely physical, okay? These players are rough and dudes, we're talking punches, kicks, grappling. It's a melee, all right, between neighborhoods. Okay, so there's 4 teams, and each represent a historical district in Florence. Okay, so there's the Bianche, which is white. That's the Santo Spirito. That's what we were, our neighborhood. There were the Azzurri, Santa Croce, Azzurri blue. Rossi, which is red. That's the Santa Maria Novella neighborhoods. And the Verdi, green, the San Giovanni. Okay, let me tell you, whites, they lost. They lost big, okay? Greens played a great game. Let's just put it that way. They were super excited. Greens wound up playing reds at the end, and they got their asses beat. I'm not going to lie. So now they did not play the final. This was just the preliminary rounds to see who were the 2 main teams that were going to play. They set up some bleachers in front of the main Duomo that yes, a former risk manager would never, ever be allowed to have. It was so makeshift, sketchy. I was laughing so hard. I was like, this definitely not approved. Definitely not approved in America for any event. There was like chicken wire that was coming down that they had put up for somebody, sharp edges hanging out. It's like, what is going on? Bleachers from like a 1960s high school, and with like just wood on the floors to keep it. But we rolled with the punches, and we went up there at the end of the game just to see. But white had lost miserably to green. Green, we originally thought we were in Green's neighborhood, but it turns out we were in White's neighborhood. So, but to witness the pride of these men who fought for their neighborhoods, for basically just for like tout, okay, for bragging rights, they were bawling. Like they were hugging each other, literally half naked, glistening with sweat because it was hotter. It was like picture 97 degrees, half naked Italian men grappling, sweating, punching. and running a ball to a pit and tossing it in for a point. It was insane. It was the greatest thing ever. Don't get me wrong. Okay. It's the greatest thing ever. But the final match was played after we had left, and you bet your asses we wanted to know who won. We were like, who won? And it turns out that Rossi won, Santa Maria Novella, and they literally kicked, they kicked Verdi's ass. It was like not even close. I can't remember, but it was an outrageous. It was like, I'm just making it up, but it was like 20-4. Like, it's crazy. But it was insane that it's a free-for-all. But, and they just pour sand. So I didn't mention that because I was like, oh, but it's hot. It's humid. All these people are in bleachers on 4 sides looking at like a rectangle area, not big, just the inside, fitting inside the piazza in front of the Duomo. And these guys on teams are literally in sand, sweating their balls off, engaging in like punches, kicks, grappling, and running a ball back and forth. It's just insane. It was awesome. It was awesome. But literally, it's not just, I mean, it's a sport to them. But I feel like it was more than that. It's a cultural event. They're huge festivities, the parade, all the celebrations after. It was a big deal. Like the neighborhoods after these games, everybody just poured out, and you could tell because everybody was wearing their colors. But I just thought it was the most awesome thing. And I thought, you know what? We might not have seen David, but we got to see that. And that was awesome. That was freaking awesome. So pretty excited about that. So that's what happens. So next time you go, if you go to Florence, find out what neighborhood you're in, and it's in June apparently. The Calcio Storico. All right, moving along. What else did we do while we were here? We also, so we lived right down the block from something that I thought was awesome, and that was the house of Galileo Galilei. Like, yeah, stop it. So the Galilei family purchased 2 houses on the same street, like, I don't know, like in the 1600s. I don't know. I'm making it up, like 25 and 34. I don't know. Okay. So they were both bought, and apparently the house is known for its like coat of arms of the Galileo family, and a portrait of Galileo is on the facade, as well as an altar and like this original fountain inside. But the house is not open to the public, but you can walk by outside and kind of get a glimpse into his life. And it's just, I mean, guys, standing in front of a building that Galileo lived in, and you're literally sleeping right down the way. It's crazy, the history. I mean, we have history in America, but in all honesty, everything that we saw in Italy existed before America was born. It's just mind-numbing. It's mind-numbing, and it's super exciting because I love that stuff. I absolutely love it. So, a lot of people, if you don't know, we're foodies. For all the foodies out there, you want to know what happened, because there's particular things in Florence that are a big deal that you're supposed to try when you're out there. We did. So the first one is all'antico venaio, the sandwich, right? It's known for the sciacata sandwiches, right? Sciacata. I think it's called that. Sciacata is bread. It's a specific bread. I don't know how to explain it because it's not like it, but all I can tell you is that imagine focaccia, but the focaccia is thinner, crispier on the outside, but still soft on the inside. And then they make sandwiches. It's amazing. Okay. So they're like, and they're huge. They are huge, peeps. Okay. Now I can tell you that there are, it is quite a big menu. So there's like historical ones, ones that are like richer, and then they're classics, they're vegetarians. There's ones with just I'm trying to think like I can't think of the word truffle. There's ones with pistachio. Okay. So we got a pistachio one, and then the kids got a salami one. I will tell you, the salami was amazing. It was so good. And if there's a line, don't be deterred, because we were not in that line for more than 15, 20 minutes. And it was huge. So they know how to get people through this line. So we had the mortadella. So we got the one with mortadella, and it's got something called mozzarella fior di latte. So it's like mozzarella cream. You could spread it. Dudes, this stuff is everywhere. Why don't we have this here in America? Why does our food suck so bad? Just saying. And then crema di pistacchio e granella di pistachio. Okay. So it's a pistachio cream with pistachio sprinkled on top, like chopped pistachios. First off, they were so big. We got 2 sandwiches between the 4 of us. And mind you, Peter's like 9, but he can eat. Okay. And we didn't finish either sandwich. I mean, we had like a little bit at the bottom, like maybe a quarter of it, but they're that big. They're huge. And they were very nice. They were super kind. Everybody was friendly. We had a great time. For dinner that night, we went to a place called Trattoria dell'Oste. Okay, I believe it was Trattoria dell'Oste for that. I'm trying to think. Because we did, I'm trying to look on my thing. Ba, 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 ba. Bum, 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 bum. I don't know why I was humming that. That's weird, but okay. So yeah, no, I don't know which one it is, to be honest with you. I have the wrong map up. So I have I told you, if you don't already do this when you travel, look for things on YouTube like a year ahead. Keep watching YouTube, foodies, stuff like that. We like Mark Ween. There's tons of different foodies that you can watch. And then mark the places you want to eat on Google Maps. If you are an Apple user, I got nothing for you. I don't know, download Google Maps. There's that. And then you can mark them and put why you're trying it, like what YouTube did you get off? Where is it at? And mark it as a food place. This way, when you are in those cities, you could just pull up your map and it'll show you everything that you've wanted to try around you. Are you going to get to them all? Absolutely not, because there's tons, okay? But it's nice to see that they're there. You don't have to look for stuff, because there's a lot of tourist traps in these places. If you're eating on a main road and you're looking at something that is historical or a place everyone goes, most likely it's a shitty place, okay? You have to kind of walk off arms. Are they all that way? Not really. But if you walk off path a little bit, literally sometimes it's only a block. So you're going to go 2 minutes past where you thought you were going to stop because you were so hungry, just to get out of the way. And there are exceptions, but it is what it is. There are a few exceptions in Rome I'll tell you about as well. But, you know, the churches, the bridges, we literally I think we really enjoyed being in Florence because we were just walking around enjoying the neighborhoods. We didn't really make it, we had one more city. We'd already been to 3 cities and we were 4, and we were, sometimes it's not about seeing all the things. And sometimes it's about just seeing the culture and experiencing it firsthand. I feel like the older I get, the less I want to be hitting up all these spots, and the more I just want to kind of like get a villa somewhere, get a car, and then just drive to random little places and enjoy the locals. It's just, to me, it's more of an experience than a memory. Most of my memories and experiences from this trip didn't come from the big places, but doing the smaller things and interacting with locals. And I'm telling you, I've never had a disappointing travel experience doing that. But the restaurant we went to was Trattoria dell'Oste, and we tried the famous Florentine steak. So there are some things to know here about when you travel abroad and you're eating food. Was this steak something that I would have ordered elsewhere? Probably not. Okay. But they're known for beef, the beef here. Okay. So we're doing this Chianini beef again. Okay. You cannot get Chianini beef. That is an option. If a price point is off, right? I felt like the price was not that bad. You're paying per kilogram of weight. So, and they'll give you an estimated how much it is. And each steak that they cut is quite thick. So maybe about 2 inches, 2 inch, almost 2.5, 3 inch cut. And then they grill it plain. There's nothing on it. They take this aged special beef and they'll grill it on an open flame very quickly. So Italians apparently like their meat rare. So if you don't do that, it's going to be rare. You're not going to request it to be cooked well done because number one, that's a douche move. You're in Italy, eat it the way they make it. And number two, then don't order it. We actually found a way around that and it all worked out. I'll tell you that story now. So turns out, so they like things like rare. Okay, it was pretty rare. I don't mind rare, so I'll even do cold rare. But I would say it was a warm rare. Not quite medium rare. I wouldn't classify that. It was pretty red, right? So, but it was warm red. So that's usually a rare or a medium rare, okay? They only throw a rock salt on it after it's cooked. Now, do I think that this steak would have tasted, fantastically more better or good than it was already if they had added salt beforehand? Yeah, it would have. But that's not how they cook it. This is how they cook it. They want you to taste the beef and the pride they have and how these, cattle are raised out on Tuscan grass and, finished with a smile. Apparently it's like a big deal about how they're like slaughtered. They don't like it's a very happy and peaceful process for the cattle itself, and there's no stress involved, and because of that, no stress hormones are relieved. This is a real thing, peeps, okay? If you don't know, go pay for a really good steak and then eat a crap one at the store and you'll see the difference. That's just not like stuff they're injecting into cows. It also has to do with the temperament of the animal while they're at slaughter time, anxious, scared, mistreated versus the way they're doing it apparently for these cows. And so it was delicious. It easily served the four of us. We got a side of veggies and we knew we were getting gelato afterwards. So if you want like a ton, you could just get the steak for everyone in your party. Everybody kind of tastes it. And then, you have your thing and then you get sides. That's pretty much, I think, how everybody orders it, or get like an appetizer or a first plate or something, a starter. But, so my niece does not eat fat on steak. Well, like I said, this is the rumors that came with her. Okay. All these preconceptions, which I always say, stop having preconceptions when it comes to food. Stop thinking that all food's made the same way. If you hate beets, it's probably because you had shitty beets and they weren't made right. Don't say you eat, and I don't like, this is my big thing. Don't tell me you don't eat a certain food or somebody tells you what something is and you're in another country and you go and make the face. Like, shut your mouth right now. These people, that dish might have sustained them through a historical time when they had nothing else available to them, and they're still eating it today. And just because you don't like what it sounds like or where it comes from, you don't even know what it tastes like because you've never had it. So shut your mouth. That's how I feel about tripe. Tripa. There. Tripa is cow stomach lining. And let me tell you, the Italians know how to do that. I've had tripa here. Spanish tripa in Spanish soup, like Mexican soup. And it's not the same. It's crappy here. I have not had a good tripe here, and like a moron, I keep trying it over and over. However, we have had it now in Italy a couple times, and it's absolutely delicious. Peter loves it. Loves it. So there's that. And he's 9. So there's that. How many times can I say that? So my niece is not, she's saying she doesn't eat raw steak and she doesn't eat fat. So nobody eats gristle, but we determined at the end of this night that she indeed likes a lot more things than what she thought she did. So it comes on this big board, like a big board with a hollowed underside so they can carry it, with a hot plate on it to kind of keep the steak warm, right? Which is an awesome presentation. And then they cut the steak off the bone and leave it on the bone, though, in the presentation. It looks like a whole steak. It's just sliced in thick pieces. So she was taking her slices and cooking them on the hot plate. And then we were all talking about it. She kind of had mentioned that it's a little chewy. And I said, well, that's because you're cooking it. So you're cooking it more. And so the fibers are seizing up on the meat, the protein fibers. And so it's becoming chewy. That's why they serve it to you rare. Because then the beef is in its softest form. Do you want to try it? Yeah. I'm telling you, people, she don't try anything. She don't eat that, but she did. So I cut a piece off for her and I trimmed a fat piece off, right? And I said, here you go. So she eats it and she's like, this is like butter in your mouth. This is delicious. I said, okay, well, since we're here, do you want to try a piece with fat? And because she had cut some pieces off. And so she was going to pick a piece off our plate. And I said, well, don't eat that. That's like gristle. You don't eat that part. There's a difference between fat and gristle. You don't want to eat the gristle. So we got another piece for her that had a nice tender piece of fat on it. And she ate that with the meat rare. And she was like transformed. She was like, why? I'm like, just so you know, the more you cook a steak, the tougher it is to chew. Just saying. If you don't eat red meat, then I guess you don't eat meat, right? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't eat red meat. Then don't eat it. Wait, I don't understand. Like, why would you cook a steak and spend so much money for it and then cook the shit out of it till the fiber seize up and it's just like this tough, stringy mess? It makes no sense to me. If you're one of those people, don't do that no more. Try it proper, but try it with a good steak. Don't like buy one at a grocery store. Just saying. So we did that. And then that evening, we went to the famous Vivoli Affogato. Thank you, Instagram, for totally messing this place up. It has become so busy because of Instagram and all these stupid influencers going there to take 6,000 pictures of a cup of coffee and not really appreciating it for what it is. But if you don't know what an affogato is, an affogato is gelato served with espresso. And this particular place has a way that they do it. So they get the cups. It's literally like a big picture, like a big cappuccino cup, right? The wide ones. And they fill the bottom with gelato with like this little spatula, but they have a way where they keep reusing the spatula. And they make like 4 little corners. So it kind of looks like 4 petals, right? With a little, almost like a design in the middle of that's hollow, right? So you got ice cream on the bottom and then they make the 4 little flaps on each side of the cup. And then they literally you get a shot of espresso right in the middle. You don't need anything. You also do not mix it. Do not mix it. It ruins the way it tastes. You just literally eat the ice cream, the gelato, and get some of that espresso on there. It is delightful. My niece and I both got that. The boys did not want that. And let me tell you, we got the pistachio, and it just had pistachios up on the top rim, right? Where the little flaps are, the petals per se. And it was amazing. So good. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So was that worth the line? Yes. Again, there was a line, not more than a dozen people, and it went fairly quickly. They had a little kind of square outside that they give you the actual glass, like you have the ceramic cup and a saucer, and they just send you outside. It's different, okay, than being there than it is here. Because in honesty, nobody's walking in America. Everyone's going home with that cup, period. Okay. Everyone. I'll fight you on this, because if you didn't go home with it, you thought about taking home with it. If you're American, they literally just give you the ceramic cup to take outside in the good faith that you're going to bring that baby back and just put it on the counter for them to clean up. You just walk right in where you pick it up and put it there and say, grazie mille. I was like, okay. But that was super, super yummy. We really enjoyed that. Bunch of different places that we went, tried for breakfast for our coffee. But one day I do know that we wanted to go. So we had heard a lot about the Piazza Michelangelo. That's where everybody goes, again, Instagram, to see the sunset. In all honesty, I feel like it's overrated. There's like a big view of the city of Florence, and you could see the Duomo. And our host said, you don't have to do that if you just walk right up the block and go to the Bardini Gardens. Okay, or Giardino Bardini. So I said, okay, let's do that. Let's see how it is. So you go to Villa Bardini, which is literally right up the block from our house, which is also right up the block from Galileo's house. And I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And it's this huge private estate that is now opened of the Bardini family. And it is tiered. It goes up. The gardens and all that go up a hill, right? So you're going high. So they're literally looking down at all the people of Florence. I was like, imagine that you have this much money that you build your garden so you can look down on all the little people of Florence. But that's how things were then. But the views from there, and the art and the statue and the gardens and all the little nooks and flowers and crannies was outstanding. It was worth the price to get in. Was not expensive to have we maybe saw 16 people the whole time we were there. I mean, we didn't have people crawling up on us, anything like that. It was wonderful. Most of the time we were by ourselves, but the views of downtown Florence were spectacular. And at the very top, they have almost like a little luncheon place that's outside. It's al fresco. And so we had lunch and lemonades there, and then walked back down and went around and back to our apartment for Riposo. Walked down these tiny little streets it's just so charming. It's like we pay for pictures that do this. We pay to buy pictures that look like the places that I walked down. It was unbelievable. But we had a really, really nice time. There's some other things that we did too. I'm trying to think. There was a place that we did do gelato the final night. That place was really, really good. I can't remember the name of it, but everything was within like minutes of our house. We did enjoy, a place called Barocino. It was gelato and coffee as well. Very good. With pastries and stuff like that. They also had cannolis that they filled on demand there. It was a really cute place too. And then we also went to another sandwich place that was really supposed to be excited. I forget what it was called though. How horrible am I? But it's funny, but they have shirts that say "Don't call me focaccia," because it's not focaccia. And they had porchetta. Or porchetta. And that is the pork roll that is rolled up and has the crispy skin on it, and then they slice it really thin. Absolutely phenomenal. We took those sandwiches home, but it was super good. We really had a good time there. The last night we were there, we wound up making. I stopped at the grocery store. I don't drink, but I wanted to taste the wine, so we tasted the wine. It was like Toscana. It was called Remole. 2023 Frescobaldi. I don't know what any of that means, but It tasted like wine, which is why I don't drink it. But I did like a little salami, prosciutto, smoked cheese with olives, did a little charcuterie, or in Italy, antipasto. Plate. In the morning, we had coffee at Vivaldi, which was another coffee spot that we liked a couple more times. We waited for our Uber there forever. What seemed like forever, but it was the nicest coffee shop. It looked like this tiny little place, but when you walked in, it was raining there the last day, and they were like, we had our suitcases, and they were like, don't just sit out there. Come on in the back. And here's me. What back? It's a tiny little place, right? But when you walked back, it opened up into this big, really like dark museum room that had all of these couches and like sofas and stuff. It was like, surprise. I didn't even know it. We were like, wait, what? So we waited there because apparently there was some sort of fashion thing going on in Florence that morning, and the Uber guy couldn't get through like all of the traffic and stuff, and he was really struggling. And I was like, he kept apologizing. We thought he was trying to blow off our ride because he didn't want to take us to the train station. But I was like, oh, okay. He wound up being a really nice guy. And we were like, oh, okay, well, that worked out. Like, sorry about that. Sorry, I felt bad about you. But yeah, that was our Florence experience. I really, really enjoyed Florence's food. I just thought it was very close to everything. If I went again, I'd definitely stay in that area again. And I would definitely would think twice if it was available, staying at the Mirror's house again. I highly recommend that if anybody's going there. But that's all I got for right now. I do have tons of stuff to talk about with Rome, but I think I got tons of stuff to talk about regularly that are piling up on my list here. So I think I'm going to break Rome down into days, and then this way I could chat about what's going on, current events as well. So that was a lot. Like, breathe, Denise, breathe. That's all I got for today. Until next week, lead with kindness. Bye.